Hello everyone, my name is Yuko Tomizuka. I'm Global Real Estate Investment Advisor, but once in a while I have been releasing a sort of Japanese business philosophy, which was developed by Mr. Kazuo Inamori, the chairman of Kyocera, uh, AU founder, and Zhao's uh, recruited, the rescued person who rescued Zhao. We were talking about this topic to enhance the engagement of elite staffs, part two. Elite staffs are usually very smart and are they are very much proud of their academic background. So Mr. Inamori, Kyocera's top, would like to implement business philosophy, business philosophy, a sort of manner and ethical code, ethical standard. So those things are so primitive. And as said, those excellent educational background guys tend to look down upon those philosophies. So how to implement, how to get them educated. Those are the tips. Now we speak about the number three, communicating your feelings instead of blaming him. This is Nick's word. Nick is a sort of elite staff. We went to America after our sales promotion to Europe. I tried to take an order while visiting customers, but we couldn't get even one order. At the time, Mr. Inamori shed tears when he said to me, Nick, we have no orders. It was very much surprising to me as I had different perspective for sales promotion. It was the first time to visit customers in Europe and the United States. Of course, it would be nice if we could get an order from the beginning, but I thought that we should introduce us and our products, gradually develop the trust, and finally get an order. However, Mr. Inamori was different. Even on his first visit, he was eager to take an order anyway. There was a difference in our approaches at the time. I thought that Mr. Inamori is amazing. I myself did not consider a visit with that kind of perspective, which means a strong desire accompanied by even tears. When I saw Mr. Inamori, who shed tears, I was surprised in a sense, and I really thought, this guy is amazing. Isn't there any salesman who goes on business trip with such a strong desire? Well, this is a word released by Nick. I add my comments. We can add to this story a very insightful interpretation. An interpreter is very much important for business negotiation and communication with foreigners. It is important that the interpreter really understand the business and accurately understand the speaker's intention. After understanding what the speaker really want to communicate, he chooses the words and phrases and translates them appropriately. Nick's role was interpreter. However, I think Mr. Inamori felt that his enthusiasm had not been fully conveyed to the counterpart, which means their customers, clients. When Inamori saw the reactions of customers, he might have thought that his passion couldn't thoroughly be passed to the customers. At the time, Mr. Inamori did not blame Nick, my interpreter. Why don't you translate my enthusiasm well? You are an idiot. Inamori didn't blame Nick in that way. Instead, Inamori called Nick's name and conveyed his feelings. Mr. Inamori told Nick that he really wanted to take an order. He made a sincere effort, and yet he didn't get through, which is a shame for him. Inamori simply told this by shedding tears. By doing this, Nick spontaneously revised his attitude as an interpreter and got himself more motivated to achieve the goal Mr. Inamori set out. Number four, never afraid to give compliment for the good performance. Nick was able to tour the inside of the client's factory in the United States. I put together all the information I observed at the factory in a report. I think the report at the time had about a dozen pages. I usually don't take notes, but at the time I precisely took notes. After returning to the hotel, I reviewed the notes and summarized them in a detailed report. What kind of purse and how the product is used, and what is important in making the product. What kind of process is most important. I sent the report to Mr. Inamori. I heard later that Mr. Inamori, when he read my report, was very much impressed and shed tears and commented in front of others. Well, Nick did a very great job. For us to develop the good relation with the customer, or for us to develop our best product to satisfy the client, Nick made such a wonderful report. He wouldn't. Mr. Inamori generously praises the achievement and performance of the staff. In fact, I think that came from the bottom of his heart. Nick did such a wonderful job, not because Nick has an excellent academic background, but Nick was an excellent person. He realized the humbleness, understood that he should work for everyone, and worked hard to do what he could, which impressed Mr. Inamori. For instance, think about a president who complains that his staff's performance is poor. I ask, I usually ask the president, assuming 10 assignments the staff has done in one day, how many assignments out of 10 could be satisfactory? I think one or two can be acceptable to you, even though you think he is an idiot and that he performs very poorly. For the good job, do you usually give him a positive feedback? Just a couple of assignments? The president said no. Well, this is far from motivating the staff. Let me tell you another example of a couple, a wife, who said that the marriage relationship with her husband could no longer be repaired and that she could not be with such a selfish guy. I asked her, when your husband helps you in looking after children and houseworks, have you ever said to your husband, I'm glad that you did that? Have you ever said that? Haven't you? See, she usually, most of the case, wife said, no. Husbands, most cases, are willing to help wives, actually. However, they cannot do the work in ways that wives wish to do. This is just a matter of communication, but most of wives are stressful and complain to their husbands, I'm always busy. Only myself husband have been busy. You do nothing to help me. To sum up, therefore, tips in training and educating so-called elite staffs, understanding justice, various standards of staffs, helping the staff to release his emotion. Number three, communicating your feelings instead of blaming him. Number four, never fail to give compliment for the good performance. In addition to the above, Nick said Inamori was natural born good guy who knows what are good things and what are bad practices to be conducted as a human being. That's very important. I'd like to highlight the criteria which Mr. Inamori believes distinguishes good guys from others, from bad guys. Always be positive and constructive. Also be cooperative in thinking about working with everyone. Say, be bright, have compassion, be considerate and kind, be serious, honest, humble, and hardworking, not selfish and not greedy, no insufficient, and always be grateful. Mr. Inamori added, a positive guy has something like this. In a nutshell, a good mindset and to be ready to do good practice as a human being. In many cases, those who are smart, have good academic background, and have a career becomes a the business top president or CEO. Such a president most likely is Nick's type. And therefore, I think it is necessary for the president to be able to get educated and trained, as Nick experienced with Mr. Inamori in the above episode. If you like this story, please click like button. Thank you for your attention.